ناكله. حرام عليكم. احنا بدنا ناكل مش قادرين. يا عميل حرام عليكم.
Look at it this way. It's patriotic to get this done. Not a joke.
We take some of the money that we're saving as we wind down.
Hey!
Ooh, what was... Oh. Ow! The Secret Service. No matter what you do, do not let him out.
Hi. Good night, everybody.
Come on, Bern!
Joe, they're the same.
Stop the boat!
Look at this fool. He wants to get off. We want to get on.
Look, if it wasn't for me, you'd be fired 6 months.
Well, okay.
Here's a man that spent more than $20 million.
Now, I have to tell you, he's a different guy. He looks different than he used to. He acts different than he used to. He's even slower than he used to be.
Welcome to the Super Gringo podcast. This is basically my monthly bitch session. I take notes during the month, jot shit down that catches my attention, like Trump's bond. I'm going to talk about the rape case because holy shit, is that bitch crazy. A little bit on P. Diddy. Someone asked me if I had some war stories. I have better than that. I have some, not war stories, but army stories. But I also have some pictures. So stick around. Hope to see you there. What's up? Alright. Hold on. Sweetest sound in the world next to, hey, the check's in. Anyway. Maybe I'll wait and see if anybody comes in to talk. But, yeah, you know what? Never mind. I'm I'm also recording this so I can use it later. But anyway, for those who don't know, Trump's bond was dropped to $175 million. Still a sizable chunk of change. Anyway, he posted the bond on March 25th. So I have a meme now of Letitia James, and that guy from the insurance commercial with the fishing pole. It's like, almost got it with Trump Tower that I shared because the loony left are losing their fucking minds. Of course, I guess, what's the name of that judge? Engran, and that, Letitia James has never read the 8th Amendment. I have. Matter of fact, I have it here. The 8th Amendment to the United States Constitution protects against imposing excessive bail, which would be in the criminal case. In New York City, if you murder someone, they don't even charge you bail, so fuck it. Excessive fines, which would be in a civil case, I guess $500 million would fall under that, don't you think? Or cruel and unusual punishments. Now, there was no trial no evidentiary trial. The judge made a summary decision. Trump did it. What they held the trial for was to figure out how much he was going to pay. That's all they held the trial for. So this is going to get thrown out, but the way the Court of Appeals works, not going to see it for some time, years after the election. So, and that's what it was meant to do. They were hoping to get the $500 million to stick, so he didn't have the money to campaign. That's what this was about, and to keep him off the campaign trail. Now, the rape case. Now, I want you to think about this. The loony left. How long ago was it? I don't even remember. Were like losing their shit because I guess, according to reports, Putin had his political opponent killed in prison. I guess now, I've asked this 1,000 times and nobody can answer the question. What's the difference between Biden and Putin? Nothing. Not a fucking thing. It's the same shit. Trying to have your political opponent using your governmental position or your law enforcement apparatus to target your political opponent. They do it here in Brazil too. That's why I keep telling you guys, you're not any different than anybody else in the world right now. Anyway, the rape case. Holy shit. No, excuse me. That bitch is crazy. And the judge, get this, in the judge's own words, she didn't prove rape. Now, let me explain the difference. And this is why they didn't try it in a criminal court, because in a criminal court, you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. In a civil court, preponderance of the evidence, meaning, it has to be like 51% possible. That's a civil court case. But according to the judge, in his own words, she didn't prove rape. Then he got sued for denying it. Yes, folks, in a communist country, you can be sued for denying a crime. You live in a communist country now. Get used to that fucking fact and stop bragging. From the trial, here's some transcripts from the trial that I just picked out. These are direct quotes from his attorney and the psycho. Taco Pina is, I guess, Trump's lawyer. Taco Pina suggested earlier in the day that Carol had political motives for filing her suit. He showed the jury an email that contained a draft excerpt from the book Carol wrote. One chapter refers to her alleged rape by Trump. He's poisoning my water, he's polluting my air, he's cooking my planet, and as he stacks the courts, my rights over my body are being taken away state by state. I'm afraid my right to free speech will go next, so now I will tell you what happened, the message said. Carol also told the jury she was assaulted by then CBS chairman Les Moonves after an interview. She said she and Moonves, Monves, entered an elevator, then he pushed me up against the wall. This is the same stuff compared to what I'm going to tell you later. Not her first time accusing people in writing. She's either a liar or she attracts a lot of rapists. From her diary, and I quote, "We'll start with 8-year-old James, who shoved a stick or rock up her tinkle place. James was 7.5 or 8, a bloodthirsty, beautiful, relentless boy. He ordered everyone around, even the older kids. To me, he said, 'I'm going to shove this up you again.' We'd played this game before. Our families had gone on a camping trip to Pokagon State Park, and I learned that an object could be shoved up the place where I tinkled. I don't remember how, now what it was, probably a stick or maybe a rock. It felt like being cut with a knife. I remember I bled. I'm not putting him in the most hideous men of my life list. Whether he belongs there is for him to decide. It is his uncles, his father, his grandfather who belong on such a list. He was raped by his grandfather. He was raped by his uncles. He was beaten by his father. My mother told me the stories much later. When James was 6, he was taken away from his father and given to a rich couple, Arthur and Evelyn. Now, one incident, yeah, that's possible. Even two. I mean, two could have, possibly. She either has horrible fucking luck, or she's making shit up. Next, after they put the paper mache crown on my head, the cape on my shoulders, and gave me the baton covered in Reynolds wrap, old Cam number 6, on the most hideous men of my life list, the waterfront director takes me out in a boat and runs his hands over my shirt, under my shirt, and up my shorts. Okay, that's two people. You little prick tease, he says. He lunges from the car and bolts his arms around me. We crash like felled trees to the ground. He pushes my sweatshirt up to my neck. He is holding my wrist with both hands, and before I can react, he changes his hold to one hand and with his free hand pulls a knife out of his back pocket. Get off, I say. That's 3. 2 or 3 blocks from my place, my boss runs a red light, stomps the brakes, skids to a halt, and jabbering about that count or a count or all counts, jams his hand between my legs so hard I bang my head onto the dashboard trying to protect myself. I open the car door and bound into traffic. As I am about to run into the hotel east gate, which no one's ever filed a police report. Weird. I look back and see him weaving toward me in a drunken trot. I remember that his legs looked menacingly short. I run into the empty hotel lobby, spurt past the desk, no manager in sight. Check the elevators, decide to take the stairs 2 at a time, hit the 2nd floor. Feeling for the room key in my jacket pocket, I run down the hall, and as I try to put the key in the door, my boss catches me from behind and clamps his teeth on the nape of my neck. I kick backwards at his shins, manage to get the key to work, jab a backwards elbow into his ribs, squeezed into my room, and push the door closed. Still no police report. I'm gonna get off, he whispers. He lets go of both my wrists for 2 seconds to open the knife. Oh, that's the other story. And I roll out from under him and run. He steps into the elevator behind me, and his pants bursting with demands. Goes at me like an octopus. I don't know how many apertures and openings you possess, reader, but Moonvez, with his arms squirming and poking and goosing and scooping and pricking and prodding and jabbing, is looking for fissures I don't even know I own, and, by God, I'm not certain that even if I pull off one of his arms, I won't crawl after me and attack me in a hotel bed. Hell, I'm thrilled I escape before he expels his ink. How many, 4? She's either the most unluckiest woman, or she's a fucking liar. And I'm going to go with political liar, because they did the same thing to a Supreme Court justice candidate, I seem to remember. And 4 women were caught lying, or actually came out and said they were lying. So, yeah. Does anybody really believe her with common sense? Of course, that's the problem. Loony leftists don't have common sense. They hate Trump enough; they will believe anything. Yeah, he's a Martian, or he's a lizard. He's one of those lizard people. They'd believe it just because they hate him that much. Now, they tried to take $500 million from Trump. He was, I don't know what he's worth now, he was worth $6.5 billion like the other day. Then after some normal adjustments on the stock market, of course he lost, his stock lost some value. It happens. But the loony left were celebrating because, well, but wouldn't that hurt Biden's record on the stock market? Just thinking outside the box here, you might want to, not celebrate so much. Maybe that's why his stocks lost value, is you elected a fucking moron. Just saying. Okay, on to the next topic. P. Diddy. I guess his house was raided for sex trafficking. If you're going to raid his house, you might as well go up to, like, Biden's house and all these Democrat open border motherfuckers, because they're into sex trafficking too. Children, sex trafficking children. But yeah, his house was raided, and somehow he was managed to get onto a plane and get out of the country. So no one knows where he is, I guess. I don't know. I watched Tim Cass, and he's saying he might be on Epstein's Island or in the South Pacific somewhere. I don't fucking know. Don't care either, really. Get the fuck out the country. I didn't know who he was until this. Other than I saw him in an interview just bashing the shit out of Trump and talking about systemic racism, which makes him a borderline retard in my book. Because there is no systemic racism. There's systemic fucking stupidity. You know, like people teaching systemic racism. Then, yeah, I know most of you probably don't care, but Brazil now wants to put Bolsonaro in prison over some vaccine paperwork. Sound familiar? Vaccines, paperwork, you know. I guess, because he didn't want to get the vaccine, weird, he forged some documents saying he was poked when he wasn't. And so he could travel internationally. I think it was to Europe somewhere, because I guess they required a vaccine document. I think the U.S. did too, except from illegals. The only people that didn't need it were illegals. If you got off the plane and you were just a normal person, you had to show that you had the vaccine. I know that for a fact because I was checking into visiting the United States. As a matter of fact, I think you still do. So I might just end up going across the border illegally. Maybe I'll get one of those, you know, gift cards. You know, they'll give me a shit ton of money. Who the fuck knows? A lot of people outside, so I'm getting distracted a little bit. But okay, back to this fraud case. I didn't go in order with anything, just because when it popped up, I just jotted down notes. Weird. Tim Cast, I watch his podcast or excerpts from it. I don't sit there for 2 hours, but excerpts come up and catch my attention. He went up on Zillow, which is a real estate site, and Googled Mar-a-Lago, which is what? I think 12 acres, has 2 waterfronts, and a bunch of outbuildings and like a main building with, you know. Then he looked at the house next door. No waterfront, 1.5 acres, $45 million. But Trump overvalued his property at $18 million. I don't know, did I write anything about Jon Stewart? I don't know. If I didn't, I'll get back to it. So, yeah. But the loony left, they're just saying, yeah, he committed fraud. Yeah, hold on, I want to move this back a little bit. Been blocked by terrorist supporters on Facebook, YouTube, because I posted the Hamas murder videos. It would appear the loony left who support the terrorists, which would make them terrorists. I don't see a difference between the two. Don't like to see what Hamas did. Even YouTube had a fit. Matter of fact, I have a strike now. They're unlisted because they're no, excuse me. There are kids on YouTube, so I'm not a total asshole. They're unlisted. If you want the link, I can send it to you. Just let me know. But there's also a webpage with all the videos. I didn't put them all up because they started giving me hits. Now, something that caught my eye, and I got the audio for it, is this guy is a former CIA operative or field agent. I don't know what they call him. Andrew Bustamante. And he talks about how ignorant Americans are. And then the host actually chimes in and he nails it too. You people bitch about some of the dumbest shit. You have no fucking idea what's going on outside. So Yeah, they nail this perfectly.
What I've discovered since getting out, since becoming more public with my own agency background, is that people really don't, I mean, especially American people, the average American out there doesn't realize how despicable the world outside of our borders really is, right? Like cartels. Cartels literally will torture you, right? Terrorist groups will torture you.
Biden says, come on in.
Y'all
come on in.
Any strategic benefit from it,
right?
But just because they want to send a message, it's their version of psychological operations. It's a number of different things, right? Not to mention the fact that they're oftentimes, like, these are not well-educated, balanced, emotionally stable people who gather into cartels and gather into terrorist organizations or gather into extremist groups. These are desperate people who live hard lives, who learn to live by a code of ethics that's defined by the organization that they come into. So, the idea that you or I might ever actually inflict prolonged pain on somebody, it's difficult to even imagine coming from the American mindset. And it's fascinating to me because oftentimes Americans will get all up in arms about saving whales and about protecting animals from makeup testing, and we'll get upset about immigrants being shipped from Texas to New York.
Right.
Like, when you compare those to what's happening in Mexico City, like, it's insane that people don't realize how protected and privileged and humane we are, and that we're subdividing and limiting and arguing.
But we're racist and horrible.
Minuscule things, and we're calling it humane, and it's the definition of humane is so much wider than what we consider.
I was going to say, periodically I'll get somebody on that will be either an ATF agent or a DEA agent or Raymond Hicks. He's a sheriff's deputy who was in the is it Broward County? Broward County. He was in Broward County Sheriff's Deputy. They had taken him and they were using him to do controlled buys because he grew up in the streets, right? So it's hard for a normal cop to come off like a drug dealer. He's even if it's a black guy, right? Like, if he's a black guy raised upper middle class, drug dealers they talk to you for 5 minutes, go, absolutely not. Like, you're trying to talk this, but I can feel it's not you. Intuition is insane, right? So Hicks.
You're right about that, Cord.
These guys are selling drugs.
Touch on that a little later.
But the other deputies are stealing money. Like,
we have evil people and useless people.
Out about it, starts to complain about it, starts to make waves, and they go, "Oh no, you're a problem." They send him to go back and work in the jail, which is where he'd come from. He said, "I didn't care about that," but he had made statements where you guys should be in jail. Not some of these drug dealers. Like, you guys are just as bad as them. You're stealing from them. You're beating them up. You're what ends up happening is they end up basically including him on a case. It's like 700 kilos of cocaine or something. It's ridiculous. And he ends up going to trial and wins. They then arrest him again and indict him for something else. This time he goes to trial again and wins. He lost everything. Like, he lost, his savings, his house, everything through this process. He was actually arrested again, and keep in mind, every time they raided his house. So, and in the comments section, guys are saying, we're the most corrupt country, we're the most, and they keep it. And I'm always,
do you know the people who say that to the most corrupt? People who've never been any fucking where. Come to Brazil, I'll show you corrupt.
There is going to be issues. There's going to be corruption. People are going to take advantage of it. So, and they're, our justice system is the most corrupt. Stop. It's not the most corrupt, okay? Is there corruption? Yes. Yeah. Is there an old boys network?
Depends on where you are.
Absolutely.
New York, but Soros backed.
Certainly not the most.
Criminal justice people are corrupt as fuck, yes.
I honestly think maybe I met one or two people that it was questionable that maybe they were innocent. And I know one guy that he's innocent. He should have got some time for stupidity. Just for putting yourself in this situation and being stupid, you should have known better. I don't think he was technically, what he did was illegal, but you're an idiot. You should have done 2 years just for being stupid. So, but still innocent. Honestly, other than that, the only real disparities I've seen is in sentencing. You're not innocent. You didn't deserve 15 years. I read your whole case. I read the transcript. You shouldn't have gotten 15 years. You probably should have got a year or two. But is that corruption? Like, no, maybe it's slightly unfair and it's not, but in comparison to other countries, bro, come on.
Yeah.
This is people in America, there's no idea how brutal it is out there.
It is. It's wild. It's wild that in countries like Thailand, in countries like UAE, in countries like Saudi Arabia, you can't speak out and say a negative comment. Even privately, it's legally culpable to say a negative comment about a royal family. Right? The royal family of Thailand, or the Saudi royals, or one of the 7 royal families that are inside UAE. To even say something negative about them makes you legally culpable. And the prisons, you can imagine what a prison looks like in UAE. It's not like the prisons here in the United States where people are given, a closed space where the barred windows are still windows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's pretty wild. And it's also interesting because you were just talking about the sentencing being the area of discrepancy, right? I don't think people understand how our justice system works.
No.
It is
most people don't.
System that pushes all authority to the judges, right? Judges have independent authority over their court.
Look at Trump.
And judges can't
Trump's
even agree with other judges. It's there.
Yeah.
It is the exact opposite of objective. It is a subjective world. They get to interpret the law. They get to apply the law. They get to do it in their district, their municipality. If they're a Supreme Court judge, they do it federally. And I didn't realize this until recently either. Judges are oftentimes given lifetime judgeship.
Yeah.
Lifetime. Yeah. Like, so if you get accepted to be a judge at whatever age, 35, 45, 55, whatever it might be, you never have to leave. It's not publicly elected. Yeah. After that, like you're a judge forever. So you're
not really concerned about public opinion because it's almost impossible to get rid of me.
Exactly, it's insane, man. And that's the justice system, which is one of the 3 legs that our entire American system is built on. Right, the judicial branch. It's one of those things to me that's both a superpower and a vulnerability in our system.
Another reason the loony left want illegals to vote.
Process,
right.
Where you do
at least
have
locally
the right to be a judge, you do have to be publicly elected.
And it's reviewed. There's a review process and a review process and a review process up to the Supreme Court if they want to hear it, because they don't always have people like, oh, go to the Supreme Court. They don't have to hear it.
Yeah.
But there's a review process all the way up through the whole thing. The only problem is it does take a long time. It is cumbersome, and you may have to sit in jail for 5 years until your situation gets rectified. But the fact that there is the possibility of it being cleared up,
a system at all,
right?
Yeah.
Right. It's funny. There was a guy, Ephraim Deveroli, had told me one time. This goes against what you're saying. He said they can do anything they want to you as long as they give you a system to appeal it. And I was like, oh wow! Like the way he said that, I was like, wow. He's a think about it. Oh, you have a problem with that? Well, here, fill out this form.
Yep.
You can appeal it. It goes to the next step. Oh, you didn't like our opinion? Great. Go to the next step. So he's like, they'll drag it out. By the time maybe you'll win, he said, but 2 years later, you've already done your sentence.
Yeah, ours
so
are
not perfect.
No, I agree. And what's wild to me is that what I've discovered in my kind of CIA experience looking at the United States is we are very much a country of conviction. We're looking for and rewarding the most convicted people, the people who can show the most tenacity, the most determination, the most diligence, and all of our systems are created to eat away at each of those things, right? So that the person who doesn't have follow-through, the person who isn't tenacious, the person who doesn't have the courage to keep pushing on, the person who gives up, that's our favorite kind of person. That's inside the United States. Everybody loves the person who gives up. Because the person who gives up just pays a little extra money to have somebody else fix the problem. The person who gives up pays their taxes on time and at the maximum rate. The person who gives up just follows the rule of law and crosses at the crosswalk. The person who gives up is the person that everybody gets to walk on. And we raise people to get walked on. Public school raises you to be walked on. Church raises you to get walked on. Like, we live in a culture that's literally propagating the idea that to be a good citizen, you have to shut up and take it. And then the people who don't, the few that don't, and the few who show the resilience year after year, decade after decade, to not get stepped on and to not put up with shit, those few people end up being wildly successful, and they become the target of criticism and anger from everybody else. If you like this short clip,
Donald Trump, did he not just describe Donald Trump to a T? Hold on. They just described Donald Trump to a T. He would not get, it won't get shit on, won't get stepped on, and he's drawn ire and hatred. But what they don't say about the process is the money. You need a shit ton of money to appeal and do all these steps. Well, that's where people get, America is no different than Brazil. Y'all like, oh, America, which I love my country, don't get me wrong. Born there, born and raised there, fought for it. Yeah, I love it. But it's just different. After looking at Brazil's education system, yeah, they may actually pass you fucking idiots at some point, because here they actually know what gender they are. Anyway, I thought that laid out not just the loony left, because the right doesn't really know what's out there either. As far as Jimmy and I were talking one night, and he says, the boogeyman, the Islamic terrorist. Dude, they're not boogeymen. They're actually fucking out there. Out of 2 billion Muslims in the world, a study was done. 1% of them support terrorists. They're not terrorists. They just support them. That's 2 million people. How many of them live in the United States thanks to the fucktard who's in office now? Nobody knows. So when something happens, whatever. I'm not in the service anymore, so you can't call me. Well, I'm still on the retired reserve until I'm 60, but hey. What's next? Baltimore Bridge. That was a conspiracy. Listen, folks. Someone said they don't use tugs. They put what they call a load captain on the ship that steers it down there, and then the load captain, they take him off. Somebody fucked up. That's all I can think, because they dropped the anchor on the wrong side or something. They lost power. Sounds like a maintenance problem to me, folks. Or, and hit a bridge that was all metal. There was no concrete or anything to support it. So what do you think is going to happen when you hit a bridge with a fucking ship? Let's take an aircraft carrier and smack it into the New York City George Washington Bridge. Or did they change the name of that? Didn't they change it to Cuomo or some fucking shit? I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with that shit because you loony leftists just pissed me off. And racism came up again. Always love when that comes up. CRT and all that shit. Republicans are racist. Let me explain something. That would mean you would have to explain away Chicago, which has not elected a Republican mayor since 1923. And, by the way, is still the most segregated city in the country. Or New Orleans, which, by the way, has the highest violent crime rate in the country, or did. I don't know if it still does. I got to check that out. It did last year, or the year before. Did last year. And hasn't elected a Republican mayor since 1870. So you people been fucking up some shit for a long time and blaming it on everybody else. How about stop voting for fucking Democrats and shit might get better? Maybe not voting for Democrats and growing the fuck up would help. Just spitballing here, trying to come up with solutions. I had Cord in here, Cord Oliver. He was a new subscriber, by the way.
Welcome to Thunderdome, bitch.
But, yeah, I'm getting tired of it. Even though they call me racist, I live in Brazil. My wife is a woman of color. She doesn't like it, actually. They're kind of racist here, too. They're actually more racist here than in the United States, where there are a bunch of white people. Weird. They like white people here, I don't know. She hates it when I go out in the sun and get too much of a tan. Anyway, something a little more personal. what was it, 2 nights ago, 3 nights ago? See, I don't write down dates when I jot stuff down. Just things pop into my head, and I just write them down because I'll forget them. I've had 11 IEDs go off next to my fucking head, so yeah, I forget shit. Oh, common sense is so rare in the United States now. Actually, in the world as a whole, especially the first world. Believe it or not, common sense doesn't exist in the first world. I live in a third world country. I can tell you this. I can go outside right now and ask somebody what gender they are, and they'll fucking know, just right off the bat. But common sense is so rare it should be a fucking superpower. I can't believe that I actually have to talk about gender, and I'm not a biologist, so don't take me for a word, being some kind of a specialist but I have read a fucking biology book, and I can tell you about genes and DNA. Also, I did take criminal justice, and part of my course was forensics. Weird. Here's something a little more personal. I don't know if anybody's seen this movie. I love this movie. Since I've seen it. You ever watched the movie The Bucket List? With Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson? Only 2. Only 2. I'm trying to figure out what you were talking. Only 2. 2 evil people, or 2 common sense? 2. No, there's more evil people in our government. I'll get to that later. Holy shit, sex trafficking. Yeah, it's out there. I have a what's on your bucket list, Cord? And when did you put it together? Because everybody seems to think like that movie, like your bucket list should start when you know you're gonna die. Oh, 2 genders, no shit. Well, two genders and a shitload of fucking delusion. That's what I say. Women come from Mars, men come from Venus, the rest of the genders come from Uranus. But I'm trying to stand, because if I don't, I'll fucking just lose my... But yeah, that movie, I wanted to know what, because it's just you and I now, bucket list. What's on your bucket? My bucket list started after Iraq, because once you see how quick life can get snuffed out, you want to do as much as you can, right? Now, you don't want to go to work every day. I'm going to tell you that. I did, but you try to fit as much shit in between that, you know what I mean? So I wrote books. Let me see, I think I have one of them here. I know one of them's on Amazon. Yeah, I wrote books, right? So my name would always be out there, always. After I'm dead, there's going to be a book with, it'll maybe not in a public library because they're about shooting, but then, of course, I play guitar, and so I joined a band, which I didn't have the guts to do before. Started professional wrestling. I have some videos of that too. I'm not saying I'm good. I was good. I just said I became a professional wrestler. Ghost hunting. I was on a TAPS ghost hunting team. I went to as many schools as I could fucking get into. I went to gunsmith school. I learned to be a private investigator. I became a shooting instructor, which, coming from the military, that school was kind of cake. Running a range. Ready on the left, ready on the right. Range is ready. Watch your lanes. Anyway, now I became an executive protection specialist. You know, the guys that wear the suits and the glasses. Yeah, I actually did a few jobs too, which kind of cool. Of course, the suits are expensive, so yeah. But yeah, I was hoping there'd be more people, so when I asked this question, there'd be like, what's on your bucket list? Because everybody says cars, money, but what are you going to leave that people are going to remember you for? Like, I wrote books for that reason. I revamped a style of martial arts because I had a black belt before I even went to Iraq. But I revamped a style of martial arts and actually earned my 7th degree right before I came to Brazil, by the way. The belt still looks new. I'm trying to think if there's anything left on my bucket list. I didn't like make a list, a physical list like they did in the movie. It's just when something, call it a wild hair. I want to do that. That's how I became a professional wrestler. The school came to my town. Now, I've always watched wrestling. I had a great, I think it was a great uncle who did professional wrestling on the carnival circuit. This is when, and you guys don't know this, but you guys were all set up. They used to bet on professional wrestling. The guy would go around for like a month, the same circuit, and wrestle fans and stretch the shit out of them and beat them. And like the rule, like if you can beat him in a minute, you get like $100, right? So they get real shooters, wrestlers, and they'd go around the circuit and stretch people for like a month. Now in a month, they'd bring in a ringer, which was just another professional wrestler, but he was a big guy, and people, and they'd do the circuit a month with, doing it, but the last show, everybody would bet on the big guy, and he'd get in the ring, and he'd stretch him, and everybody would lose their money. So it was actually a racket. Like, professional wrestling has never been real. Don't tell anybody. I was watching this thing by Bill Maher. Bill Maher. Don't give a shit. He would vote for Biden if his head was in a jar. That's the problem with the loony left. I like that, but again, I ask what's... you should write a book on your travels, those 48, and then publish it, self-publish it, like I did. I didn't go through a publisher, fuck them, because they take a cut of everything. But Italy, I moved to Brazil just because, you'd have to see the women here, and the exchange rate. But I like Brazil. You kind of have to, and I'm really having a hard time with this, to be honest. If you have, like I have 3 college degrees, that's another thing that was on my bucket list. If you have a really good education, you kind of gotta and I have a hard time doing that, toning down your, don't expect much. They're ranked 79th in education for a reason. And I try to, my mother-in-law can't read at all. Portuguese, English, nothing. So, but good people. I mean, how can I, the people I know are good people. Don't go certain places. That's all. But yeah, you should write a book about that and put your name on it and publish it. Just get on your bike and go. I mean, I don't know how old you are, and you don't have to do it all in one, travel all 48 in one, You have any special skills? Because that's what I wrote mine on. I graduated sniper school in '89, and I just did a book on that, which I was competing at the time in Cortland, actually. And I have a book on 62. Oh, fuck, do it. Just do it. You ain't got much time left. Well, Now, I'm not saying you're going to die tomorrow, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm 55, and I know I have more time behind me than ahead of me. Have a good time. And I know money is an issue right now because, well, the loony left elected a fucking idiot. I could not afford to visit the United States right now. Period. I flew to Brazil 2020. Was it 2020? Yeah. 2020, I flew to Brazil for $750. Do you know what it would take me to fly back to visit? 4 times that much. Elections have consequences. It was something. It does. All my kids are in. My oldest is almost 30. My youngest, I'm a grandfather, but she's 22. 55. But I started late. I had my first kid when I was 27. Being ugly keeps you out of trouble with, kids. I was over on X the other day. Yeah, I talked. Yeah, that's actually it's not a bad price to Italy. That's what I would pay to fly to Brazil, and Brazil's in the same freaking hemisphere. So I don't know if it's sour grapes between Brazil and the U.S. because I guess Sniffy Joe pissed off Lula. Fucking. Yeah, I assume you have a passport. See, to Brazil, you don't need a visa. You just need a passport. For 90 days, you can stay here, vacation, do whatever. Took me 2 years to 2 years, was it 2020, 21, 23? No, 3 years to get my residency. After I married, I'm married to a Brazilian, so. I've noticed something too with Italian because I listen to different languages on YouTube because I'm trying to learn Portuguese. Oh my God, the Portuguese language. But Italian, because they all both come from Latin, some of the words are the same. But I go over on X. Just a question. I'm throwing out a theory here because I've talked to these people and they're idiots. Could it be possible, just spitballing here, that we didn't evolve from apes? We're evolving into apes? Because after talking to the loony left, I could see some of those people in like 3 or 4 generations swinging from trees and throwing poop at each other. Just saying. Just a theory. I mean, it may not be true, but holy fuck, are they stupid. Sorry, but it's possible. I mean, come on. We're here. Monkeys are here. We have a bunch of stupid people. Just saying. And to you Americans, because I live in Brazil, this only seems to be a first world country problem. How was your I have a dick but I'm a chick visibility day? Awesome, huh? Oh, I'm sorry, but that kind of, made me glad I moved, because we don't have that problem here. I've seen a couple trans, but they don't hold fucking parades. They don't care. Yep, schools, CRT, gender ideology, all this Marxism. If you want communism, you're probably borderline retarded. Sorry. I mean, Brazil has more socialism than the United States. So I see where you're going already. Like, they own the oil companies here. My gas is, well, I get paid in dollars. They get paid in reals. So it sucks for the Brazilians, but it's 6 reals a liter. A liter's more than a gallon, but still, that's expensive. The government owns and they get taxed 3 times for that same gas. Because they take income tax, which goes to the government-owned oil company. Oil company sends it to the refiner, which taxes them, and then you guys are getting taxed. Well, I don't know. Are Trump's tax breaks still in place? I don't think so. Here's another reason I'm glad I don't live in the States anymore. But I still get to vote, so Jimmy can be upset that I'm going to use absentee balloting, but I'm going to vote for Trump. So anyway, the Biden administration is actively participating in human trafficking, and I'll explain how. The unaccompanied child comes across the border. Simply, he either has a number written on his arm or a note, pinned to his coat, jacket, or whatever, with the phone number on it. Customs and Border Control, CBC, Customs and Border Control, call the number. Person says, yeah, that's my nephew or whatever, even if they talk to the same person 100 times. They put him on a frickin' bus and send him to the sex trafficker. Your government is actually breaking the law right now. But yet, they just raided P. Diddy's house for doing the same fucking thing and killed Epstein for doing the same thing. Weird, huh? So, I have no respect for this illegitimate government. Should be shut down. I'm still trying to figure out why nobody's shooting yet. Let me explain. What does it take? They've been grooming and chemically castrating kids for at least 10 years now. Kids. I'll say that again. Kids. They've been grooming and chemically castrating kids for 10 years now. In my mind, somebody should be hanging from a fucking telephone pole with a sign around their neck. But, that's me. I'm weird. And of course, we have, what was it? Was it yesterday? It was close because it's further down on my list. I did them in order when whatever caught my attention, I wrote it down. I have a traumatic brain injury, so I forget shit. I can't remember parts of my entire life. Literally years. Oh yeah. Well, what do you want, man? Ukraine needs their retirement program paid for. What the fuck? And if you say if you say he's wrong, you're greedy. You're greedy. Still. I'm sorry, I'm still waiting for, why aren't you people shooting yet?
Are you fucking getting it yet?
You have all these things, in 1770, what was it, 5? No, 4. It was a T-tax, they dumped it in the, and then they started shooting people when they tried to take their guns. So, I honestly believe America has become so fucking weak and effeminized that anything could fucking happen. And, fuck it. Not my problem. Not my problem. I moved because the problem with weak men is they want to tell you how strong they think they are, but they're not. And I got tired of fucking hearing it, especially after I got because they're sending them to sex traffickers, and then, well, check the dumps. You'll probably find them, or at least their remains. This is your government is in on this. Your government's doing this, thanks to Sniffy Joe and his clan. But they're fucking pedophiles. Anyway, Sniffy Joe's a pedophile anyway. But yes, I love the loony left always coming up with stupid slogans. That one of them put up a meme that said, "Facts. Conservatives have never been the good guys." Really? Slavery? Slavery was a good thing? So we ended slavery, so I guess you think we're the bad guys. Gotcha. Jim Crow. Ended Jim Crow. Bad guys? The Cold War. I actually had a Cold War certificate until I moved here. I left everything behind, but I had a Cold War certificate. I participated in the Cold War. So did my father and my grandfather. Well, my grandfather participated in World War II. So maybe not the Cold War, but World War II. But yeah, I had a... So yeah, we're never the good guys. Most police and military are conservative. All right. Good to know. Then, who was it? Seth 1704 asked if I had stories, military stories. And I had to sit down and think, because 23 years, and part of that, a lot of... Let me get a beer first, because... I was wishing Jimmy was in here, because I had sound effects and pictures and all kinds of shit. But anyway, I'll be right back. I'm going to grab a Kaiser, and we'll get into some Army stories. Sorry it took me so long, but my wife is taking college courses and can't figure out which. It's a technology course and she can't figure out the computer. All right. Again, you kind of have to lower your expectations on education when you move here. Anyway, back to Army stories. This first one, just to let you people know, I wish Jimmy were here because I think he was in on this one. Yeah, they fucked up the U.S. They're the reason we're so, all the wars are kicking off. That's why. But, first one here is, just so you know, tanks don't float. Oh, wrong picture. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. We were on field training, not gunnery. And we were, I think we were supposed to be the next ones in line or whatever. But this tank got in front of us, and I can't remember that. I think it was Moffett. Moffett was the TC of that tank, and they took off. So we, took off to get in our position. So we got two tanks drag racing. One's on the tank trail. Moffett's on the trail, the actual road, and we're in the field next to him. And 60 plus tons. Believe it or not, an M1 is actually pretty quick for 60 some tons. However, as we were actually gaining too, by the way, so we were winning, and for some reason, when you see cattails, right, that means water. That's not good for a tank. So I hear, we all scream, stop! Yeah, Horizon was driving. His name's Steve Horizon. Good driver, not his fault, but a tank also will not stop on wet ground very quickly. So we kind of slid in there, and then the tank went. So I was worried he was down there drowning because I didn't know how far over the driver's hatch the water had gone because they don't seal. It's not a submarine. So I'm screaming, oh, spin the turret, we got to get him out. So we get him out, and I'm pretty sure it was Oot, his tank, that pulled us out. So as Oot's pulling us out, Horizon forgets to put the brake on and slams into the back of Jim's tank. Which, of course, Jim wasn't happy. Jim Oot, what is it, the Lion's Den now? I got some pictures of him, too, when we were at this is like post 9/11, so there was always security. But I'll explain, let me get the picture up. There he is. There's Jimmy there. Yeah. He actually looks kind of happy in that picture, like he's not all pissed off. But anyway, we went to the Republican National Convention to guard our rail yard. Let me explain the uselessness of that mission. If there was not a police officer there, couldn't be a guardsman there. Kind of negates the fucking purpose of us being there, doesn't it? People can come and go while we're not there, because if a cop gets called on a call or goes on break, we can't be there. And we're carrying weapons. So, you know what we actually did? Nothing for 2 weeks. There's Jim there with the high-speed police vehicle we had. Awesome, huh? Oh yeah, those orange vests. you know, they make the whole uniform stand out, you know, so we looking sexy, we really sexy. And yeah, there's one of those instances where I think the cop's name was Jim, his first name. Jim, I think everybody there is named Jim. Don't know why. But yeah, he had to go on break or on a call or something. Or it was, I don't know. And so we were sitting around playing cards. That was, yeah, pointless. And there's the crew. I'm all the way over on the left there. And I remember, like, Ossett would come out and check on us. He was the platoon sergeant, and we would take off our, like, reflective vests and go in the woods and hide. And watch him look for us. Was it Oot? Not Ossett. Steve wasn't a bad guy. He was just, like, his home life was not great. So he kind of, like, got a little authority and, you know, he's a good guy, though. I mean, there's Jim there telling one of his stories, I guess. Yeah. Actually, I miss those days, you know, before the war, before I went to war. It was a lot quieter. And then, there he is. He did not look fucking happy there, does he?
Fuck off past the deer stand!
I've been waiting to use that. Yeah, that's where he got. That's that fuck off past the deer stand look. Yeah, probably because of leadership. I'm gonna guess. Just spitballing here. And there he is. Yep, another one.
Fuck off past the deer stand!
The minivan. And we're back to, let me get back to, because I don't have pictures of the other stuff, because, yeah. Anyway, and then, there was a story, I think it was the first year that I was on tanks. I came over from infantry originally. So, first year I came on tanks, like, we never had enough loaders. We were always undermanned. So I was like loading for like most of the company. I was bound to be Top Gun loader on a Top Gun tank because I was loading for everybody. And I learned my job really. I could do 2-second fucking load. You know, 2-second load times without a fucking problem. Problem is when you're doing it, 8-9 times a day, 2 or 3 times. What is that? Fuck, that's a lot of loading. You get tired. So I get on, I think, Lieutenant Stebbins, I think it was his tank. I'm on his tank, and we're doing the TC's engagement. Now, I know every engagement, how many rounds you get, how much time you get. I can tell you what time fucking instinctively, because I've done it 50 fucking times already. So we're running the TC's engagement. He gets 3 rounds. And he shoots, back, misses, load, shoot again, misses, load my third one, shoots, misses, I sit down. Looks at me and goes, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, you shot your 3 rounds. He goes, I don't give a fuck. If that gun's empty, you load it, and I'm going to shoot it. I'm like, can't do that, sir. He looks at me and goes, why? I was like, you didn't say please. Fucking... He was hot, but he laughed, but he was hot. Let me explain something. I'm not going to short a gunner who can actually fucking shoot for a TC who can't. Weird. If the gunner, depends on the time, too. If the gunner's a total fucking douche. Why waste my sweat? Matter of fact, I remember Sergeant Patch when he was Staff Sergeant. Was he Staff Sergeant Patch. The first time I loaded for him, he looked at me and said, that fucking gun's empty, you're wrong. If you ain't bleeding or snotting all over yourself, you're wrong. So, that's how I learned to load, and that's how I learned to tank. Then there was, first time I went back to infantry, 2005. I transferred back to infantry when they, ended my unit, my tank unit. Same armory, too. I just crossed the hall. And they went to Puerto Rico. First time I ever met Smitty. This guy's a character, man. Jumped in Panama. Fucking star on his jump wing, CIB already. 82nd Airborne, and fucking high speed. And E4, specialist. And we all get to Puerto Rico, and we're doing maneuver training. Taking this hill or whatever, like just patrols. And blanks, you get blank adapters that you screw on the end of the, it's important in the story, screw onto the end of the rifle or saw. He was carrying the saw. Now, first time I met Smitty, ever. First drill, actually, we went to Puerto Rico. Awesome time. Pork and beer. Lots of it. Anyway, we're on maneuvers, and somehow Horizon, because of time and grade, although he was not MOS qualified, ended up being the squad leader, and I became a team leader. Weird. I don't care. Anyway, it was fun. Anyway, we're supposed to be taking this hill, and my nods just shit the bed. Can't see anything. Smitty's off to my left, and I got, I think, a 203 gunner on my right. I don't even remember who that was. Wasn't even important. And all of a sudden, I hear out of in my left ear, I go, "Hey," because Smitty's nods are working. Somebody's over here. I'm like, well, who? I didn't even get the whole sentence out. Next thing I know, he a saw carries 200 rounds in a box. He had the box on there, and he put 200 rounds through a saw in like seconds. Well, I got reamed out because he welded the blank adapter to the barrel of the saw and actually warped. I don't know how you warp a barrel on a saw with blanks, but he did it. And so we got our asses reamed. That was my first drill with that unit. So I already had a reputation. We already had a reputation. He was the guy that we volunteered together to go to Iraq. So, and then I wish Jim was here, so we could talk about him breaking a fucking building with a tank. We were doing maneuver training, mount training, military operations in urban terrain. And actually, it's the captain's fault. It's not even Jim's fault. It's the captain's fault. I want to see you scanning like a motherfucker, standing like aggressively. And so we start doing the maneuver. And now I don't give a shit about anything, really. Still don't, really. Anyway, we're going through the city. We got infantry with us and all this shit. And he's scared. I mean, he is. He's rocking that turret. And all of a sudden, wham! And a main gun is just a hollow piece of metal. And it goes, brrr. And I hear it over the CVC. What the fuck was that? I don't think I just kind of lean down into the turret and go, oh, you hit a building. And I hear, what? Over the CVC. I kind of start laughing, but, I had my job to do. So we get back, and what a pain in the ass. 4 hours, because he broke off the MRS, a muzzle reference system, which has a nuclear chemical in it or some shit. That they had to come up and get a special hazmat team and shit, and we had to fill out a bunch of reports. Thanks, Jim. I'm trying to think if there's any more stories. I could tell that it would be upbeat. And Jim's told some of them, like the bear incident with his dad. There was the time at the ice storm, 96, I think it was. We were out driving, and our truck didn't have any heat. So what happens in a truck that has no heat to the windshield? Yep, frost up. So we're driving, and we're using the red lights of the truck vehicle in front of us. I think the Humvee, I don't know. We're driving. We have a deuce and a half, 2.5 ton truck. Jim's driving, and they have the stoplights and shit. And we're like right on the ass of the truck in front of us. And as we're going through the stoplight, that stoplight turns red, and I'm like, I got a Korean era fucking Arctic parka on. It's like 50 below, and I just kind of look over at him and I go, that was a blatant disregard for the law. Actually, that was a pretty cool mission compared to, later missions I went on. That was a pretty cool mission. Lots of jokes and, lots of Chili Mac MREs in the room. And we actually had a chaplain catch us watching porn. So that was kind of cool. Cold, but cool. Then we got to talk about the earthquake in New York. Relax, people. It's happened before. It was like a 4.8 magnitude. I guess there was some damage. But it's not the first time. There was one in January, 1.7 magnitude. And another one in May 19th, 2023, 2.2 magnitude. Maybe Earth is just sick of the fucking lonely leftists in New York City, and eventually it'll just drop off the fucking country. I think my wife just went outside wearing a fucking jacket in Arequipa, Brazil. She is. She's wearing a fucking jacket, and it's like 80 fucking degrees here. What the fuck? Then, what was it? Was it yesterday? Jimmy was going on about the government can find you. Dude, you tell him. What is it about? The gun registry. Everybody's worried about the gun registry. They have one. You tell them what you have. When you get your hunting license, you tell them if you're going to hunt deer, right? Buck, and doe, right? Well, obviously you're going to hunt that with either a shotgun, a rifle, or a bow, right? And bow is a separate season. So they know if you sign up for bow, they know you're going to have you have a bow, you have a shotgun, or a rifle. And then, guess what? Black powder has its own season too. So they also know you keep black powder on your property. You tell them what you have. They fucking know. And every time you turn on your smart TV, your smartphones, you have GPS in your car. They know where you are. Google Maps keeps a history. They don't have to look. You tell them. Then, I'm watching YouTube today, and I guess they're firing rockets at the eclipse to see how it disrupts the atmosphere or some shit. And there's conspiracy theories out there about some god rocket thing, Egyptian book. Remember when I asked about apes? Yeah, I think another reason I'm asking about it. And my last note I jotted here, because this is important to me. I guess America is on high alert from Iran. Question. How many illegals are from Iran? Or a Iranian supporting country? Can anybody answer that question? Because I'll wait. I mean, there's two people in here, I guess, unless I'm one of them. Another question that popped into my head while I was rattling that around, because, I've been in the military. And are any of these countries going to send us money to defend ourselves? Ukraine, Taiwan, perhaps? Israel? Come on, NATO. Let's kick in some fucking money. Like Trump said. And that's what I picked up this month. Actually, I was going to put some original music in here, but I'm not sure, because they're covers. They're not original, they're covers. And I wasn't sure if YouTube would let me after my last strike. But if you guys want to see those Hamas videos, I can send you the links, but there's a whole webpage with them on there. That, holy fuck. Which I know, I've seen shit firsthand. Jimmy and I have talked about it because we're military. I don't generally talk about it because, unless, generally veterans, unless they know. Muslims, terrorists, I should say terrorists, but not all Muslims are terrorists, but most terrorists are Muslim. Sorry to say it that way, but that's the fucking truth of it. And if people don't like it, well, then you don't like the truth, fuck off. Lost my train of thought, because I'm not on notes anymore. Jimmy called Muslim terrorists the boogeyman. They're not. They really hate you. They really want to kill you. And I think I mentioned it earlier. There are 2 billion Muslims in the world, and 1% of them support terrorism. That's still 2 million people. And that's just the people that were polled. So this is why I think borders are important, don't you? And of course, it doesn't help we have an idiot in charge. So, you know, the U.S. kind of looks like a Down syndrome kid that everybody picks on. And you shouldn't pick on Down syndrome kids, but people do. Oh, excuse me. People do. This is what I'm calling my free-for-all segment, where anybody can say anything and we'll discuss it, because I mean, Cord, I think he has a different name. I think I've seen you on either Grumpy's or the Lion's Den, maybe. There's also there's something I want to talk about, and this goes to the right as well as the left. The attention span of the American populace. If I were to put up a well-detailed article, audio file, because I use audio files because for like years, I ain't reading all that, so I was like, all right, I'm technologically smart. I can use text-to-speech, so you don't have to read it. You can listen to it, like a book on tape. The right is just as guilty as this. Widen your attention span, you dumb fucks. Because I could put a well-written article that details my talk, facts, and put up a fucking meme with a bunch of bullshit, like the loony left and a lot of the people on the right do. Hey, facts. Stupid shit. Because it's quick. Facts. Stupid shit. Let's get some attention span, folks. Actually, it's kind of why I'm like, even here, they like the short and quick, Here's a tweet about Bolsonaro or Lula, or that's it. Now, if I were to ask them questions, they wouldn't know jack shit. It's the same with the loony left. Matter of fact, a lot of them will just block me. if I ask a question, they don't know shit. They found a meme and they liked it. Trump bad. Trump bad. Okay, Sling Blade. Why? And then they'll put up shit that's obviously made the fuck up. And I have long videos proving it's a fucking lie with numbers and charts and all that shit. Grumpy could tell you, holy fuck, I'm a detail guy. I ought to be a producer. I shouldn't even be doing a podcast. I should be running one. But yeah, see, I'm off the list now, so I'm trying to, because I want to just start yelling, but I'm not Jim. He has a personality. I like his personality, but he doesn't have facts. I like facts. I like figures. Like, my favorite is the loony left, when they talk about COVID. And, oh my God, Trump and COVID. I'm like, you do realize that more people died a year after he left office, right? You fucking morons. With a vaccine and mandates and lockdowns and all that good shit. More people died when he left office. More people died under your guy. Sorry. Tomorrow, I have the privilege of going to watch a bunch of grown men beat a fucking bull to death so they can cut it up and eat it. Or not eat it all, but yeah, last time we did it, they asked me, well, how do you guys do it? Now, I looked at them almost confused and went, we shoot it in the fucking head. They use like a hammer and try and stun it. Unfortunately, the hammer they have isn't all that big, so they damn near beat the fucking thing to death before they actually get to use the knife. That's how I got this scar right here from the rope holding his feet. Yes, it's a different world here. Nice to visit. I like living here. Just got to change the way you think a little bit. Also, they can't drink alcohol like Americans do. They think it's crazy that I drink a 6-pack. Or 8 even. I'm an American. I'm also part German, so yeah, that might have something to do with it too. I don't know if it's in the blood. Could be. I was hoping Jimmy would come in tonight because I had those pictures of him just looking pissed off. That was, yeah. And I had a sound effect for him. This is what an M1 sounds like when it starts, an M1 tank. Sounds like a F-15 or F-16. But I'm going to go get a beer while this is running. So you enjoy the sound of an M1 tank running. I'm back. 1,500 horsepower of pure sexy. Best job I ever had. Because, I never got to be a porn star like I wanted, but... yeah, I think Cord left, and the only one left here now I got this full size. Yeah. I think that's horizon up there on the gun tube. That's my bag right there. My green bag and my tan tank. And there we are having pizza. I think that's at that railroad yard. Pizza and Coke. I prefer Pepsi. And yep, Stefanko. He's on my Facebook. That high-speed police vehicle, you know. Oh, I'm trying to remember everybody's name because he went. The guy with the glasses on. He went scouts. I saw him in Afghanistan. He was a staff sergeant when I saw him. And there's the crew. The dude down there with the M16, him and I didn't get along. He's a fucking moron. Overweight. Couldn't pass a PT test if his life depended on it. There I am, off to the left there, just standing there looking like a fucking moron. I'm trying to figure out, there's a lieutenant, I think, in the background there. There's Jim there with the big blue radio next to the police officer, and then there's Dingy, which he was cool. I'm trying to remember, we called him the Jew or something. There's Horizon to the far right, the one who sank the tank. Memories, man. One night maybe I'll just do an entire segment of pictures and just remembering shit. Because without pictures, I don't remember stuff because of IEDs. Oh, there he is. That's when he dipped. He didn't smoke. He'd shoot. Sergeant E5. Oh, wow. Love that shit. I don't know. Maybe I can add stuff on the fly here because I have a bunch of pictures. Let me see. That's live chat. Alright, let me see if I can add more pictures. Add files. Okay, I gotta... let me see here. Okay, it's not... military. Images. Maybe if I can find some Republican National Convention. There we go. Bring back some fucking memories here for me. Yeah, there's my tank, obviously. Damn. I added some more pictures just so we can... There's Steve Ossett, the guy I was talking about earlier. Not a bad guy, just very... His home life wasn't the best, and when he got a little authority, he liked to use it a little too much. I think that's Dingy sitting there. No. First Sergeant. I think it was First Sergeant for like a year, maybe two. Dingy passed out. The crew. Oh, I love those orange vests. Yeah, it really kind of defeats the purpose of the camouflage, doesn't it? Dingy, enjoying a powdered donut, which crew again, helicopter, Black Hawk, just showing the body armor, the level 3 plates. If I remember correctly, we cracked one of those, hitting it with a ball bat or something just to test it. Oh shit! Trying to remember his name. He's on my Facebook too. He'd be pissed off knowing I can't remember his name. Mac reading a book. I have no idea what we were checking. Under the I think we were just talking about somebody could sneak in through there, so it wouldn't fucking matter us being here anyway. Blackhawk. Armory. Yeah, there we go. No, yeah, Blackhawk. They got Stingy. The boys. West Side. Stefanko. I'm trying to remember his name. Because we, at Picatinny, he friended one of the waitresses. They were friends. Shit, I don't remember. I think she's... Oh, the crew again. Mechanic there on the left. I can't remember his name. I think he came over from the Infantry 2 when we had the 113s. Stefanko, Mac. Dingy. Specialist Dingy. Yes, they never had the right size body armor for us either, so my neck and shoulders took a beating. Oh, there we are, setting up the cones, our special cones. And every time the cop left, we had to take him down. And then when he came back, we had to put him back up. Oh, Sergeant Taylor, look at the size of that head. Oh, shit, I can't remember his name. He was cool as shit, just laid back, man. Sergeant Taylor giving a briefing. Blackhawk. The crew. Trying to figure out. I think we're looking for grapes or something. I don't know. There I am. Ugly fuck. There I am checking a car. The gas mask, I have no idea why. The orange vests. What's up, Cool Breeze? Horizon, Steve. Pissing. As you notice, there's a pistol on his right side. Yes, we carried weapons and live ammo, which we didn't carry at 9/11 for some fucking reason. And there's the picture of the guys. Dingy. And there's the high-speed vehicle that the transit cop had. Being high speed. I'm trying to remember which lieutenant that was. If Jim can remember his name, because I can't remember it for the life of me right now. Like I said, after 11 IEDs, I don't remember shit. Horizon again. There's duplicates in here. Playing cards, because the cop left. While the terrorists were sneaking in. I guess that's us leaving, or showing up or leaving. This is at Camp Smith, the barracks. Mess hall. That's at the armory, before we left. You see Jim in the background? Give me, I'm number one, man. Blackhawk. Horizon. I guess he didn't take the decaf that morning. We had to get up at like 4, I think. 4 or 5. It was fucking early. Yeah, there's the crew. Sergeant Taylor and shit. I'll have to look up his name. If I, was going to plan on doing this, I would have done more research. KFC. And, DG. I love those World War II, Vietnam era barracks. Love them. Oh, I don't know who took this picture. Oh, there I am off to the left, but I'm in it, so someone else took it. Blackhawk, me and he's a sergeant. I think I was I a specialist then? Corporal. I think I was corporal then. Trains. We were guarding a train yard. Oh, Diet Coke. So conscientious about his figure. trying to read his name tape, but I can't because he was just so laid back, man. Laid back sergeant. Camp Smith, there's our first sergeant. Nope, no name tape. There's, I swear to God, his name is Jim. I swear to God. Trains in back, Amtrak. We were guarding an Amtrak train line. And putting up we got there, got like when we were almost time to leave. Noticed the black boots and BDUs. It was a while ago. I think it was 2004, 2003 or 2004. It's an M551. Trying to get like Black Hawk, bottom of the Black Hawk. I'm still trying to remember. I swear to God, it was Jim. We called him Jim. There's Dingy sitting on the tracks. Yeah. No, I was not high. Just tired. Bunch of police showed up. Oh, that's when he had the cruiser. Ossett giving a briefing, which is always fucking in another, you're number one. But yeah, those were always awesome. Always very informational. Very filled with great information. Yeah, I should do more of these. Like, Dingy, you mean the Army did something right? What? Headquarters, Empire State. And there I am with Corporal Safara. People used to call him Safara. Using Sergeant Horizon. I think I was corporal then, but to teach restraint techniques because I worked in a juvenile jail at the time. So did Corporal Safara. And we're back to the beginning. So I think I'm going to call this a night before the 2-hour limit. But it was cool to go down memory lane. I might have to do that again. Forgot about some of that stuff. Good time. But you all stay safe, and try to have fun, and fill your bucket list before it's too late. And I'll see you next month. Maybe I'll be uploading like videos, but I'll see you live next month. I hope more people show up. Peace.